Hello, it's Nadine here, and I'm here with this week's episode of Life, Health, and the Universe. And this week I'm joined by Kim Kent, who is dialing in from Perth, WA. Hi, Kim. She's dialing in from the future.
I'm coming to you from the future. Well, it's Friday morning for me, so it should be your Thursday evening.
Just Friday morning, 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're a few hours ahead, but we're on the same day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh.
I know, it's so confusing. Um,
Love it.
Before we go any further, Kim, let me do a quick intro of you, and then I'll hand over to you, and then we'll get stuck in. So, welcome, Kim. You are dialing in, as I said, from Perth, and you're Perth's leading money mindset and financial coach. You're renowned for your wealthy as, I'm going to say it, fuck money coaching program. In all your advertising, it has a little
There's an
asterisk.
there's an
But we're allowed to throw an F bomb here and there.
can't say fuck with an asterisk. I'll try.
I figured that if you're going to call your program that, then you're not scared of an F bomb. Um, so you've helped countless women overcome their money mindset blocks, achieve financial freedom, and break the cycle of generational scarcity. You've been featured in a whole bunch of different publications, including Ozpreneur, Mamma Mia, Inside Small Business, and there's a whole bunch more. Really excited about this conversation. I've read a couple of money mindset books written by women, so we're happy to talk about those and I'm sure they've come into your world. But yeah, money is one topic that we haven't had any chatter about on the podcast, so I'm really looking forward to this. Welcome.
Well, I'm excited because I'll always bring a different spin around money too.
Yeah,
And look,
yeah.
it's already
I've
felt
already
me.
got questions.
Okay, and look, I'll disclaimer. Like, I'm a Aussie through and through. I swear because I'm passionate. So I'll probably swear. I'll try and be mindful. But look, if you don't like swear words, either don't tune in. You can stop listening now, or
Yep.
otherwise,
Pretend that she didn't say them.
just be fine. The world, you'll be fine. But
Mm.
yeah, so I have a bit of a potty mouth. I'm totally blaming the Aussie culture on that. I go on tangents. I lose my train of thought. I want to blame mum brain, but before I had a kid, I was doing that anyway. But I'm here to have the deep chats, just to get straight to the good, juicy stuff.
Great. So I've covered off enough in the intro. We're just going to get stuck straight in.
Straight in.
Brilliant. I want to start with something kind of high level and just about women and money, because we hear there's so many training programs, books, and they're all written by men. And when they're written by men, they're really for the men's world. So where do you sit with all of that? Because there's two money mindset books that I've read: Barbara Stanny, Overcoming Underearning, and Denise Duffield Thomas, who's also an Aussie, who's written Chill and Prosper,
Mhm.
and she does a lot of money mindset work.
Yeah.
But they're the only two women. I mean, I have to admit, I haven't done any research. You're the third, but women don't talk about it. So, like,
Yeah.
we're in a man's world. How do we, as women, come into our own power when it comes to money?
Yeah. It's such a powerful question. And I think when you look back on your life and it's like the hindsight, you realize I've always was meant to do this. I was always meant to work with money because I'm a very, I want to say I am now. I'm not now, but I was very strong masculine energy. Because I've always been entrepreneurial. Like, I was hustling my parents for pocket money as like extra money. I was bagging up leaves to clean up the garden, like 50 cents for a big garbage bag. I think they were underpaying me, but
I
back
don't know.
then.
I'm still trying to get away with paying 50 cents for the same sort of thing to my kids.
True, true. No, back then 50 cents could buy you a lot from the delis. You could buy lots of lollies. Now you can buy
One.
one little gummy bear or something. Anyway, I've always had this entrepreneurial fire within me, and it did come from my lack of, like, I wasn't born into wealth. There was so much scarcity around money. My parents always fought about it, then they divorced. I knew more about child support than like any other parent at my school. Like I'm the firstborn and female, and I have a little brother. Like, so with the divorce, it was a shit show. It literally was a shit show financially, and I took on a lot of stress. So I've always wanted money because I always thought, well, if my parents had more money, they would have been happier. But then I want more money because then I will be happier. Right. And then I saw my parents sacrifice levels of happiness and freedom for stable incomes. And it's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's like you have to choose one or the other. I'm like, that's bullshit. No, I don't want that. So anyway, coming into my adulthood, and I got into business straight away after uni because I couldn't get a job. You know, I did the thing, got the degrees, got two because I thought I'd make more money. Couldn't get a job. There was no jobs going. Fell into the online space. And I share that kind of backstory because I fell into network marketing. So that's where I started my journey. And it's full of the personal development, and it's all men. Now there's women in personal development. We're like 90% of, network marketing. It's like 90 or 95%. It's women doing it.
Okay.
But yeah, everything you learn is very male dominant, and especially when it comes to money. So now I say I've lost your question again. I'm like, where am I taking this?
It's women and money and like
money.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's male dominated in the sense of, because when we think of money, we think of well, not even today, but even only a few years ago, it was still cash, where cash is measurable, cash is tangible, and that's of a masculine energy. So the logistics of money is masculine. The numbers, the budgeting, the control, all of that. But then the energetic side is the feminine energy, like the emotions and all of those things. So it's like the go-to with money, we just think about the cash in the bank. But the cash, yes, it's money, but what we have in the bank just reflects our relationship with the money.
Yeah.
Can you see how this is where the female thing ties in? But I will say, I've read a lot of the books, and I find it's not to throw anyone under the bus, because I find a lot of the female dominated in the money, they're just very mindset.
Yeah.
And it's mindset only. And then I find a lot of the men, it's like the tangible strategy
Practical.
only.
Yeah.
Practical. Yeah. And so this is where I guess this is what makes me different in a way. And I'm really proud of it, because I'm like, well, you have to have both. And if you think about like yin and yang, the duality of life, like the energetics, physics, science literally proves the balance in energies. You can't have positive without a negative. So you can't have one side without the other. So if you really want to master money, you actually need to have both. But yes, it feels male dominated because it was just, money was so focused on the practical first. And now there's the wave coming through of, hang on, there is the energetic side. It's actually, money just reflects how we think and feel about it. And look, us women can tap into that more. But I find that there is coming more of a balance, but it's still very women emotional, men practical.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I feel like with the mindset stuff as well, like it's really interesting. I think Barbara Stanny's book's quite interesting because there are some practical elements where it's like it just puts you through like the words that come up when you think about money, or when you think about how much you'd like to earn, like where the number kind of stops, and then it feels like uncomfortable to go beyond that. Finishing sentences like, my mum thought X about money, my dad thought X about money. Like, I think that was really cool. But the mindset stuff, what I feel like, even with mindset stuff, it can still be a bit kind of practical, right? It can be like, just think this way and then you'll get this. And it's not like that, I don't think.
There's what I've learned, there's layers, because
Yeah.
I love to dive into this stuff, because I'm all about, like, my vision is to break the generational hand-me-downs of the scarcity mentality. Because the reason I think, maybe not me now because I've done the work, but Kim I need like I always talk about this. I need like, it was 2018 is when I started the work. So I need like D-Day. I need a something? Because it feels like it's like pre-Kim and post-Kim, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The pre-Kim, scarcity, lack-driven, and anxious attachment to money Kim. Where was I going with this? I'm so focused on the D-Day I'm calling from my transformation. Yeah, sorry. See, train of thought lost.
No, all good. Take your
Mindset.
time. Take your
What
time.
was the question?
I was just saying about mindset and how it can still seem kind of like practical. Think this
Oh, yeah.
way and you'll get this.
Thank you. So, gosh,
Straightforward.
this is great. I haven't had my coffee this morning. Love me for this. So, yeah, my
This
thoughts.
is real life, you know. I'm like down with it.
Yeah, the thoughts that I had, this is where I was going. I'm on track. Thoughts that I had stem from my childhood, because when I was born as a blank canvas, right? I was this pure energy, but a baby doesn't know it's a fucking human when it's born. It actually still thinks it's a part of the mother's body. So
The
we're all
universe.
yeah, we're born as this blank canvas. And then as we grow, our biggest influences, mum and dad, stereotypically mum and dad, or whoever is the parent role, they get their paintbrushes out and they start to teach you what's right from wrong, what's black from white, what's day and night, all the things. So when it comes to money, you learn, like you develop your relationship with money from what you're taught. And it's not necessarily just like mum saying, you know, it's good to save and you should budget, which is all the shit that we heard, but it's witnessing, like we learn from how our mum and dad behaved, how they spoke, how they reacted. So that's what develops our beliefs. So then that's hardwiring in our subconscious mind. That's setting ourselves up for our future. So then, you know, we get to this adult life where we want to hit goals and we want to achieve things. And if we want more money, but the thoughts that we have that are painted on our canvas, right, that design us, if they're in alignment with there's not enough, rich people are greedy, money doesn't grow on trees, you should work really fucking hard, you should just work harder, or you should just be grateful for what you have. Like, it's come from a lack and a scarcity. And if you are holding on to those, which I did, and then I wanted big monetary goals and I wanted to hit certain earnings amounts and money in the bank, it didn't align. It doesn't align. So yes, there's like a practical, well, just change your thoughts. Just change your thoughts. Now, this is what people don't get, and because this is what I spent years trying to do. I spent years just trying to paint new thoughts on top of the canvas consciously, but your subconscious mind is like 4 million or something times stronger than your conscious mind. So that's your autopilot. That's your actual go-to, and that's what's dictating your relationship with money. So yes, there's a practical to change your mindset, because it's actually getting out the elbow grease and the terps and whatever else gets off paint. This is like acrylic paint, by the way. It's not like water-based shit that you can just wash off. It's like the hardcore, it's embedded into the canvas. We got to do the work. We got to do the practical steps to reprogram our mind. So that is where the masculine comes in. The feminine part of it is like the trust in the process, understanding that it is your emotions. It's energetics. It's actually just energy. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Next.
Love to go deep. Love to go straight in, like straight.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about your story, and where do I want to go with this?
I love your brain. I'm the same child. Like I'm at a crossroads and there's 5 different roads. Like,
5 different roads. Yeah. So pre-Kim, we'll just call you that for now.
Yeah.
Pre-Kim was, let's say you were stuck. So you had all of these ideas about what you wanted. Do you feel like what you wanted had to change? Because, you know, really what you wanted was out of lack, was because of lack in your childhood, right? So did you have to change what that was about? Because really, essentially, if you just want, and it's because you feel like you haven't got it, you're in that same cycle, right?
It's so really, when we don't feel like there's enough money in the bank, as much as I don't want anyone who, if you're listening and you're like, I feel like there's not enough, like, I'm not trying to depress you right now. Awareness precedes change, okay? But if you feel like there's not enough in the bank, it just reflects you feeling like you're not enough yourself. So I spent my whole childhood, my adolescence, and the first part of my 20s never feeling good enough. And I was constantly seeking things externally to validate me and make me feel good enough. And I just had a lot of, like, money was just a big key part of it, because I was like, if I have more money, then I'll have freedom. Because right now I feel trapped. And I grew up seeing like life as trapped financially, and just, it was a sense of trauma, like little T trauma. I wouldn't call it big T trauma, but for me, it was still traumatic. Like, I was the little girl who never felt good enough. So I was always chasing more, more, more. So yes, you have to realize, like, I was searching for something outside of myself. And one of the things is I want more money because I want to better, like, I had big goals and big dreams and ambitions. And I know I'm someone who, like, I want to fly business class. I want to travel the world. I want to live in a house with ocean views. I want big, because it's a desire. And I've learned that, you're born with your desires are your birthright. Like, some people don't care for that. That's totally fine. But my financial stability is like tiny little thing. Like, my next birth, if I have another kid, like, I can pay for the private midwife, so I don't have to deal with rules and regulations, because that's my freedom. But it's cost thousands of dollars. I want to buy, do you know what I mean? That's just big goals for me. Like, I don't care about the nice car, but I definitely want the nice house, and I don't want to have a mortgage, and I want to be able to buy things for my parents who are stuck, and no matter what they do, they will not listen to me. Like, I'm the black sheep. They're stuck in their story. Bless them, love them. But then how nice would it be that I could just buy my mum she needs a new car. Because to her, like, I would just be able to love to be able to just do that.
Yeah.
It's like that sense of freedom of choice. I'm a big freedom.
Yeah.
Like,
so
core.
what do you think are the biggest changes that you made pre-Kim and post-Kim? What if you could kind of list some of, like, pre-Kim thoughts, practices, behaviors,
Pre-Kim
through the process, now current?
Yeah, pre-Kim was like, I hit the top of the company in the network marketing business. The youngest in Australia. I was earning 100K a year with no child, no mortgage, and I wasn't married yet.
Is this
pre-Kim?
Okay.
I hit the pinnacle position in this company. I got all these things. I had residual income. I was getting 7 to 8 grand a month, even if I did no work, because I'd built it up. It was never enough. I was broke. My credit card was always maxed out. I would be fighting with my now husband when we were together. He would do something that he'd want to spend, and I just it was a control. Like, I would react in a way like, hang on. But then all I'm doing is stripping him from his power, because I just had to control everything outside of me, because I didn't feel stable within. So that's how it looked. But the thing is, I'd buy the clothes, and I'd buy the wine, and I'd buy all the instant gratification, but it still was never enough. And then when I did the work, and it's like, it's simple. It's not easy, because you're dealing with your emotions. I'm literally reprogramming my belief into belief that I actually am worthy, because I was born worthy. So you're peeling back all these layers. So when I did that work and literally learned to love myself and know that I'm actually fucking amazing. And look, don't get me wrong, it's a journey. It's not a light switch and it's just forever. Like, it's a journey. I'm not perfect, but I believe that I'm worthy of love. And I know my mum and dad love me. And I know my husband loves me. And I know my friends love me, when before I was constantly chasing that validation and thinking otherwise. So I guess post Kim, new Kim, wealthy Kim, or like that wealthy as fuck Kim, because that's the brand. Gotta say it. We're gonna say it now that we said it from the start. Well, look, me and my husband never fight about money, and we used to want to strangle each other. Like, because we got married, I didn't start doing the work until a year after marriage, and we got married almost 6 years ago. Can't keep up. And we would like fight like cat and dog, because, and it's just what my parents did. It's the exact same thing. I was living out them, and I'm like, this is going to end in divorce. Like, we're going to separate because of this toxic relationship with money. But yeah, so right now we never fight about money. We're on the same team. There's stability. Like, I actually trust the circulation of money. And the thing is, I will still get triggered. things will happen. Like I had to get new tires on my car. And like, I remember back when my car tires cost $160 each. Now I'm thinking like, I'm talking like 10 years ago because
Yeah,
I
I'd still like it if that was the case.
know, and I literally got them done yesterday. And I have an SUV now because, you know, mum car, it's not a big one. It's a RAV4. So if you know, it's not like a 2016 RAV4. I haven't needed to get tires. Or if I have, like my husband, he just did it. So in my head, cool, new tires, be about $200 each. They're like $400 a
Right.
tire.
Yeah.
Old Kim would freak the fuck out. New Kim would. The thing is, it's still with like, like I could do so much more money, so many more things. Like I don't value tires. I don't care about the tires until obviously you want to care about your tires because safety, but it's not high in my value. But I didn't freak out because I'm like, it's a part of life. Like the money's going to be there. It's not like I put away $1 every day for my tires. I don't do that, but I don't freak out. But the trigger was there, but I don't freak out.
Yeah.
And I have the protocols and the embodiment. And so this is the feminine energetics. I have the embodiment. I have the discipline that I've practiced and built these new habits so that like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope that kind of paints a bit of a.
Yeah, definitely. I heard something the other day, and I thought it was quite interesting, about lack and our fear of lack or scarcity. But in fact, most of us, we have this fear, but it's totally irrational because we've never actually been in a. Yeah, we might have had, parents that had difficulties of their own when they, were married and when we were growing up. My dad was like a fairly, work hard, save, turn the lights off when you go out of a room, don't waste, eat everything on your plate, like all of those things, like don't waste, don't waste, don't waste.
I shared bath water with my brother. So
yeah, we probably had to do that.
I would be like, he will wee in the bath. When I'm weeing in the bath. But yeah, we had,
but we have these that stuff that's gone on and that fear of lack, and it can come from those circumstances, and perhaps they had their own experiences that they've brought with them. Well, they definitely have. But we have this fear of lack, even though we've never actually had nothing.
It's because that's the belief we were hardwired.
Yeah.
The thing is, when I've got two things to share on this, right? I've got a little example that will make us think differently, but it's because it's stored in your nervous system. So part of my program, one of the modules, we go over this. It's your identity. So my nervous system identified with that lack is like worrying about money. I didn't die there. So it was actually safe, even though it's uncomfortable. My nervous system didn't know how to fully trust that the abundance that, money is unlimited. It's not limited, but we grow up, we get told thinking it is. But because my nervous system had never been in that wealth state, that trusting state, my brain goes, well, you could die there because you've never been there before. So we want, and this is the push-pull we have, especially as women, because we have a lot of generational expectation hand-me-downs, and we have this, like, we want to expand. This is another example to share, but I will remember the baby example. I'll come back to the baby example, but this is one of my new metaphors because I'm all about the metaphors. It's like we grow up and it's like air blowing into a balloon. So we're the balloon. And then what happens is the paper mache goes around because they're the beliefs, right? Okay. And then we're safe as this size. And then we usually get to adulthood. I have experienced it late 20s into 30s, different generations. It's a different age point, but it's kind of like the time now, this big awareness, we're evolving but what we're trying to do is I want my balloon to be bigger because I want more, I want to hold more, I want to expand my capacity, but you've got this paper mache that's hard. So it's like this kind of like, do you know what I mean? Like this frustration, and it's like I'm trying to expand and then something keeps me contracted. And that's because we want to stay safe. We don't want to do the work to peel back the paper mache because our nervous system and subconscious goes, but if your balloon gets bigger, you might die. You might not be able to handle that. So we kind of fuck ourselves over. So again, awareness precedes change. Then you go do the work. And if you can't do it yourself, I spent years trying to do it myself, but I didn't know the strategies and the systems and the protocols. You go and invest and you get the help. I got the coaches. I finally decided it's because I hit that point. I'm like, I'm earning good money with no big commitments. Why the fuck am I still broke? So I finally hit this goal, financial goal. If I'm still feeling the same, all right, Kim, you can't do it by yourself. I went and got the coach. I went and read the books. I went and implemented. I went and got the accountability. I did the programs. I took from here, there, and everywhere. But I want to share the baby analogy, because this is where it literally is perception based on our beliefs. When a baby's born, like this stat I got for probably about 5 years ago, so it's probably increased now, but like a newborn baby's born every minute. I think they say on average around the world. So are we thinking, like right now as we're speaking, a newborn baby is taking its first breath? Whilst that baby is taking its first breath, are we here freaking out that there's going to be less oxygen for us? No.
Very
Yeah.
point.
Great point. Well, there is an abundance of oxygen. We trust it, but we haven't. I'm sure if we were brought up with beliefs around that it's going to run out, and we create a lack around the oxygen, we're going to start fucking hoarding oxygen tanks, like the behavior, see the scarcity behaviors. So this is the same with money. This is why and it has been passed down. We can blame our parents, but if we stay a victim of it, we're never going to make change. So yes, thanks mum and dad for fucking me over with my financial mentality, but yay for me for taking responsibility to change it. It's because I have to trust that just because the next lot of 13-year-olds who are legal enough to work, now they're going to go out to the job and make money, just because they're receiving money, is that going to be less money to go to me? No, but can you see how it's just perception?
Yeah. I'd like to point out though that I'm not like when you said, we're not going to run out of oxygen, that doesn't necessarily mean earn and spend, right? Because you've proven that doesn't necessarily work energetically.
Well,
if you're in the wrong mindset about it.
The wrong mindset. And this is where I'm going to talk about universal laws. I don't know if you had that down ready.
Yes.
Let's go into this, because when I learned about, so this is what I love with what I do, and what I find a lot of the money coaching out there is missing, because I had to get it from all different places, is it's like the science meets the spiritual, and spiritual is energy. Energy is proven by science. It's all the fucking same, right? One can be more masculinely seen, and one can, like, usually the spiritual is way more feminine. It's just an interpretation to a degree, right? So this is where I learned about universal law. So the universe, we know, here's a science lesson, and I'll share it in layman's terms, because I'm like,
that's what I'm all about the layman's terms.
Yes, all about the layman. So the smallest measurable piece of matter is an atom. An atom is made up of energy, and it has both positive and negative waves. So these waves, they're not stagnant things. It constantly waves from positive to negative, positive to negative. So it's proven by science, which means everything is made up of energy, which means everything is moving in a wave or cycling, positive, negative, like up, down, or opposites, right? So then there's universal laws that govern the balance and homeostasis and harmony of the universe, which keeps all the energy in balance. And the degree, this is what one of my past coaches said. I think he said it sounded way more smart. I don't even have good grammar, so way more smarter than this. I grew up in like the hood, like the gangster ghetto area. Like I failed English. Like, don't judge my grammar.
I reckon you're doing pretty good.
Me too. No. So where was I going with this? Everything is made up of energy. The universal laws, they govern us to keep us in this space. So my old coach, he said something like, the degree in which we struggle as a human is how much we resist universal law. So the more we resist universal law, the more we're going to struggle. First, I didn't really understand it. And this applies to everything in life, but obviously I'm going to talk about money specifically. So one of the universal laws is the universal law of circulation. And if you think about it, energy circulates. It has to, that wave, that up, down, it's a circulation. Time is cycling. Nature cycles. Our human body cycles. We have systems inside our body that cycle. things cycle. You're either growing or you're dying. A plant
You
is
breathe
either
in, you breathe out.
exactly. So if everything in life has to cycle, the more we trust the cycle of it, the more we're going to be in alignment and in flow. The more we resist, the more we don't trust it or have lack or scarcity, the more we fuck ourselves over. So when it comes to money, and this is where when there's a belief around money is limited or there's not enough or you're going to run out, there's a lack, you're not trusting in the circulation of it. Money is energy. I literally can transfer you $100 right now to your bank and there's no physical touching cash exchange. Money is actually energy. Obviously, we want to, I still believe cash is king and we want for other reasons, but it's just energy. So when it comes to this is this is the spending. So this is where like my long-winded answer, bring it back to the spending. If you have a belief and embodiment of lack, like your go-to emotional reaction is lack, you're still going to spend, hold, receive. So that's my little diagram, spend, hold, receive. But your ability to receive is it's not enough. It's not good enough. I'm still not worthy. No matter how much I get, I'm not fulfilled. You want to hold on to it because you want to hoard it. I was a fucking great hoarder with nothing to show for it. I would hoard, have to save, but then constantly dipping because I couldn't handle it. And then spending, I never wanted to spend, but I always spent because I had to pay my bills and I still bought clothes and traveled, did all the things. So we still follow, because you can't mess with universal law. Money's going to cycle. But if you're driven by lack, you're never going to trust the circulation of it, and you're going to keep having this like restrictive, trapped fear, anxiety, stress. Your nervous system is just going to be going crazy. And as I said before, like if that's a comfort zone for you, that's why it's your go-to.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, when you align with the universal law, and this is a work that I've had to do on myself, and this is what I teach my clients, when we trust the circulation of money, it's like the nervous system hums, and we're in that balance, that beautiful hum, that energetic hum, like the universe is when everything's in flow. So
that was a word I was going to bring up actually, because I heard another thing recently, and it was it was about energetics, and it was about like what can block. One of the things that can block us is that idea of flow and that denial of flow. And that's not necessarily like, oh, I don't want to spend, but it could be like someone emails you and asks you a question about your work and you don't respond. Yeah, you're blocking the flow, that potential for things to keep moving. Saying no to work for no other reason than like, I don't know, there's anyway, the flow thing.
Yeah,
flow and denial. It can be kind of a slippery thing that you might it might kind of slide under the radar.
Yeah, because there's no structure, right? Flow needs structure. So this is where the masculine, feminine. Feminine. Oh my god. Whatever. The femme. I'll just say it. This is where like you can't have the masculine without the feminine. So if a river wants to flow, right? A river flows, the water's flowing. The only way for it to flow is it has the riverbanks to create the structure. If the riverbank disappeared, it would become a lake where everything would just flow. It would just like start to expand and expand until it stops. Like it's not flowing in alignment with where it's meant to go. So flow requires structure. So if we don't have a structure, which is a sense of discipline, this is the masculine, which is the strategy, or it's all those three things. Discipline, which is you got strategy, systems, structure, discipline, right? They all work together. Now, if yours isn't in if you don't have a set strategy and the discipline in alignment with the outcome you want, right? You're not going to flow there. You're going to try and be like, oh, I just don't want to do the masculine. And I've been there too. So I don't want to hustle and I don't want to be strict and all these things. I just want to trust and hope I get there. Yes, you can trust, but that's the whole sitting on a rock waiting for $1 million to like be handed to you on a silver platter. You know, it's unrealistic. We can't say anything's impossible because there's impossible. I highly doubt it's very realistic. So do you see what I mean? Like we need to create the structure. So then if we get the email because you're running a business and you want to increase your income and someone's inquiring, Your discipline is like, I get back to these people, even if, like, I prefer you to DM me on social media than send an email, because I'd rather voice message back than have to type. But I know, I'm like, well, I want a sale. I want to, my intrinsic goals is to make more money. My extrinsic goals is to make impact and change lives, right? They're equal, both. You can't have one without the other. But I'm like, this person's contacted me through email. Like, am I going to sabotage by not following my own structure? Or am I going to be like, hang on, I do want to help this person. It's going to help me get to the outcome that I want. Implement the discipline. So then the money is going to flow to you. So I hope that makes sense.
Yes, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about hustle. Where do you sit with that? Do you need to hustle?
Yes, because you can't have hustle without flow, or you can't have ebb without flow. So hustle and ebb, same thing. You can't. It's the duality.
Yeah.
And the thing is, where in a man's world, building business in a man's world. So I hustled. The reason in my first business, the reason I hit the top of the company in 3 years, which was semi-record time. People were doing it in like 5 or 6 years, and then they're doing it faster now in the network marketing industry. But back then, I hustled my little ass off. But the thing is, I did it from a masculine point, which is what we learn growing up. There's a stereotype of hustle. It's masculine energy. I would hustle, burn the fuck out, need to retreat, need to recover. And I was on this roller coaster. And you know what happened? I hit the pinnacle position. We went out the day after. My team took me out for champagne and we all celebrated. And the next day after that, I was like, right, what's the next goal? I was straight back into it's not enough. I got to keep hustling. Like, I couldn't even celebrate what I had achieved. So hustle will work for women. It works, but it comes at the cost of your energy, burning out, quality of life. Okay. So because I didn't have the trust and the flow, and there's a feminine way to do it. So now how I do business, like, I earn more and work less than ever before with my own business. And I have a toddler who only now goes to daycare 2 days a week. Before, I did this all in her nap times, because the hustle is, and this is my own quote, is you have to have a vision bigger than your bullshit. The key to success is a vision bigger than the bullshit. So if you're a key to whatever your success is, if it's a financial goal, a business goal, it can be going anywhere in your life, right? The reason that we don't feel like we can succeed to hit our vision is because the bullshit becomes bigger. I'm tired. I don't want to have to work hard, or I don't want to have to do that, or I just want to be, whatever it might be. It can be anything. And there's all excuses are equal to a degree. You know, I have a child, you don't have a child, or I don't sleep at night, or my husband, or I'm a solo parent, or I'm single. Like, it doesn't matter, right? But where I'm going with this is to have a vision bigger than your bullshit. That's going to pull you through. So you're going to hustle, meaning you're going to do the aligned action, not just working for the sake of working. So like now when I work, it's like being a mum, I get so much more shit done. And then you think pre-baby, you're like, what the fuck did I do with all my time?
I know.
I had the whole day and I slept and I worked 16-hour days thinking I just got to keep working, and I'm just throwing spaghetti at wall and there's no structure and whatnot. Now I do hustle. So I'm in a space, if I know I have an income goal, okay, what needs to happen? What disciplines need to be in place? What strategy, what help do I need to get? Where do I need to strategically balance? Balance is schmalance anyway, but like when I parent and when I work, and what am I okay with? Like, you know, screen time does help me build a business, even though I used to be anti-screen time before I had a child, but all these things. So yes, hustle, if it's in alignment with what you want, it's not going to feel like hard work. And if it starts to feel like hard work, as in resentment, stress, frustration, get a strategy that supports you.
I feel like hustle's just got a bit of a negative connotation, and you like, I wrote some stuff down while you were talking, and then you said all of the things. So like for me, because I've worked in the health and fitness industry, I see people, you know, personal training, as a personal trainer, see clients burn out. You know, people who get personal trainers are often, you know, wealthy corporate, and they just work their butts off, and then they literally get sick, burn out, everything goes
sick happens
pear-shaped.
Yeah, the sick happens to get you back into flow, because it's
that's the hustle, right? That's kind of like the connotation of hustle to me.
It is 100%. And it is like, the thing is, a man can, and it's not to be, I think I'll be so careful these days. I'm like, am I going to sound sexist right now?
Men can't do it.
You can't.
They can't do it either.
You can't, but they can Groundhog Day because they don't have an extra layer of,
because they're the linear men. They're the linear. We're the cyclical.
their hormones, their reproductive cycle. Yes, they still go through a cycle, but it's not at like ours.
Like every hour or something.
Yeah, ours literally has a 28-day stereotypically with peak seasons and where different energies are in your body. So there is a level that men can go to work in their corporate job 9 to 5, then go to the gym, sleep for 5 hours, live off eggs and tuna, and it like build shitloads of muscle, and it's like, and not burn out. But women, there is a different layer. But the thing is, that's one thing. It doesn't feel like hustle when you're in flow, but it's when you're in alignment. And like things that used to frustrate me, like if I now know that my cue is frustration. If I get frustrated, I feel like I'm hitting, like I'm trying to do it all myself, and that energy is blocking me. And that's where it feels like, just push through. You should work hard, which is a belief system where I reprogram, where I'm like, well, I want to believe that I want to work smarter, not harder. And I'm going on a tangent, but I feel like it's relevant. Then when it comes to this hustle culture, like our two biggest, most valuable commodities is time and money, right? Time is the most valuable because you can always make more money back. You can't make more time back. Now, if you want to achieve something faster, which usually means I've got to hustle, if you want to do it, if you want to say, what is it, collapse time, whatever the saying is, it's usually going to cost you more money. So spend more money, reduce the time frame. If you want to save more money, usually because you're doing it yourself or you don't want to get help, it's going to increase the time frame. So you've got to weigh out, and I've been there too. I would get, like, say we call it the toxic hustle, because I wouldn't want to spend the money and I wouldn't want to get the help. I want to try and do it all myself. But I'm not a jack of all. If I want to be a master, I can't be a jack of all trades. And I would burn out trying to do everything. And that's a toxic burnout, the hustle.
Yeah.
And like I hustle now, but I have a team. I'm very, when I have the time to do it, I'm like super disciplined. I've trained the discipline. So I've got 2 hours kid free today and I'm going to get so much shit done. And then after that, as much as I would love to keep doing things, it's like, no, I'm parenting now. Or Kim, you actually need to enjoy your life. Like, what can you go do that fills up your cup? But I still hustled.
Yeah.
Those hours, it was like dedicated in alignment, the tasks I like to do that need to get done to move the needle. That's how I view.
Yeah, cool. I think it just needs a new word.
We just need to reprogram our beliefs around it.
Yeah.
Like, we hate the hustle and flow. It's like, no, I choose to believe, to love the hustle, and I make it work for me. So I never burn out. So I can flow in my hustle. I don't know. That sounds hilarious.
Hustle flow. Flow hustle.
Hustle, yeah.
Cool. I've got a whole bunch of questions, but like, I think we're going in a good, like we've got our own flow going, right? Abundance. Like, obviously you're a money mindset coach. So when we talk about abundance, you're talking about money. Yeah. Is that because it's something tangible for people? Like, does abundance just mean money to you?
No. If anything, I'm like, abundance is becoming an ick word for me because it's like so trending and cliche, but you can't, but what is it? Is it subject? What's measurable and what's not? I always get them confused.
Subjective, objective.
Yeah, which one's measurable? Objective, I think.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
So I was going to say subjective.
Told you, I found all kinds of things.
One of those.
Okay. So abundance isn't necessarily, abundance generically is not measurable, because abundance to me means something different to you. And abundance actually just means like a lot of, or an overflow of, or more than expected, or more than enough. Yes. Right?
Yeah.
We associate it with money, just like the word wealth. We associate wealth with money. Money is one area. Money is one pillar. So then if you're talking abundance with money, it's abundance with money. Yeah. Because the thing is, we do, and it's, I think maybe because I got so into this movement at first because I felt so much lack, and I'm like, I just want abundance everywhere. But we forget to see what we already have. And that's the perfect example of the baby taking its first breath There is an abundance of oxygen.
Mm.
There is an abundance of money. It's all how we perceive it. But I don't really use the term. I don't really teach it around money because it's so multifaceted and what it means for everyone in different things. So I guess, yeah, that's kind of my view on. I wouldn't teach you like how can you create an abundance of money, because you probably already have an abundance of money, you just can't see it.
Yeah.
I can give you some, I can give you guys some tangible things you can go do.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so let's talk about your work specifically now, because we've been
I don't even know the time. I can't see it. I'm on the full.
It's almost 20 past, so we've
Wow.
I know. We've been in flow.
We've been in flow.
Yeah, so let's talk about your work specifically, because obviously we want to we want to know how to find you and all of those things. So who do you work with? Do you work with you've kind of suggested that it's women who are in business or entrepreneurs, but like for the stay-at-home mum who has difficulties with cash flow.
Yeah. So look, at the end of the day, 99% of my clients are female.
Yes.
I have the 1% who don't even come onto my calls and stuff because men, they just, it is a stigma, you know. I do help, and a lot of the men who do my work are the partners of the ladies. So yes, it's women, but it's not necessarily an avatar where you're a businesswoman or you're a corporate or you're a mum. It's if you earn money and you feel like you haven't got anything to show for it, or you should have more to show for it, or you should be further ahead, or you feel stuck, or you feel like no matter what you do, it's still that payday to payday cycle, or you just don't feel organized and in control or in that personal power. Mm-hmm. That's who I work with. So inside the program, there is a beautiful mix of like startup business owners that are absolutely killing it because they're earning the money and they're still like, where the fuck is it all going? Like, I need help. I have mums who have FIFO husbands. So they are the stay-at-home mum, but they're you know, they have their income, they're a team and they want to organize that. I have the independent mum. I have the independent mum who's a business owner. It's a blend. But I don't work with victims. I've tried to help everyone. And look, I can be a huge victim myself. I learned from the best. I spent a lot of my time, my early life as a victim, like poor me, woe is me. It's everyone else's fault that I'm broke, you know? I can't work with victims because I can literally hold your hand and give you everything you need to set up to never worry about money. But if you don't do it, you'll blame me.
How do you determine who's a victim?
You can tell. Look, if I'm triggering right now, if I'm triggering someone right now and they're like, oh my God, this Kim woman thinks X, Y, Z.
She thinks it's so easy.
Yeah.
She doesn't know.
I'm triggering your victim. We all have victim ego. My victim ego is the same part of it. Right? One is more self-righteous, one is more self-righteous, depending on the situation. We all have it, but if it's being triggered right now, it's because your victim ego is just responding to me talking. Your higher self is probably going, oh my God, this makes sense. Or there's something, or I'm curious. Why is this triggering me? But look, when I have people reach out, or if they apply for the program, because I usually do a little call first to make sure you qualify for it, I can tell by the answers you share, and I'll just give you like a free resource to start. Like, I'm super transparent. And as I said, if this is someone already like, oh, well, Kim's not going to take me on, you're being a victim. Don't be a victim. Like, step into personal power. But I mean that with love, lots of love. Hands on my heart, giving you lots of love. But anyway.
So you work with all sorts of different people, women mostly. What's your program? Do you have an online program? Do you go out and do talks?
It's online because it's the best way to service everybody. So the program is Wealthy as Fuck, and it's a money program, but it's self-help. It's like a self-worth program. I'm helping you become the most wealthy as fuck version of you. So what I do is it's an online course. And then I have a live community and weekly group coaching as an extra bonus to, like, for the first 12 months that you get that for free, just to support you, because I've designed this, right? I used to do one-on-one, but I can't help everyone one-on-one because so much time, you know. So I designed this for the independent mom with ADHD who runs a business, because she wears all the hats and feels like she has no time. If she can get through this course in bite-sized pieces, anyone can do it, you know? So you have the course. I teach you my 4-step formula, which is my money blueprint to never have to worry about money. So you create financial freedom in your current budget.
Yeah.
Because where it has to start. If you want more money to have financial freedom, your spending habits are the same. You can earn more and you'll just feel the same. So we got to set the structure up. So my 3 pillars that we cover are mindset, management, and manifestation. So it's the perfect blend of the feminine and masculine. We balance it out. So the mindset is, how I talked about the canvas and the acrylic paint. I give you my 3-step process that strips that paint back off, reprograms the subconscious. So it's very simple. It's a skill you learn, and you can, you do it on all your money stories that come up along the way. Then the 4-step formula to set up, you get my spreadsheet as a bonus. I've created a spreadsheet to manage your money with the wealth principles and universal law. So you don't have to make your own, because spreadsheets give me anxiety normally. I do not like spreadsheets.
Too.
This one is so pretty. I took out all the lines. There's no lines. There's none of those, like, it's not a checkered box thing. It's like beautiful sections with the branding. It's gorgeous. It's actually fun. But it's just a way where, like, ever since I've been using this, like, I've learned this to a degree, but I've tweaked it to balance the feminine into it. Like, this is how me and hubby never worry about money. This is how we're like, yep, let's put our money through the blueprint. We always have enough for bills, savings. Like, we were able to save 100 grand in a really short period of time on an average income. Invest in our first property. Like, we're going to Italy next year, and that's going to be like a 30 grand trip to cover incomes while we're not, all the things. And it just slides in. It works. So you get that as the course. And then the manifestation is, it's like going to the gym. If you want to if this is my example, if I wanted to run a marathon in 6 months' time, right? And I don't run because I don't fucking run, okay? And I'm like, I'm going to run this marathon, and I do no training. I'm most likely going to have a cardiac arrest at the 500 meter point, okay? Because I don't run. So I'm not becoming the embodiment. I'm not manifesting being a marathon runner. If I know in 6 months' time, I don't even know if that's enough training time. In 6 months' time, I want to run this marathon and not die. I start showing up as a marathon runner. I start to train. I start to eat well. I start to do the things. So I'm manifesting at a different level. I'm manifesting becoming this. So I teach you with the training videos, the coaching calls, you just doing the work and following the strategy. That's you leveling up your manifestation. So you're becoming the wealthier version of you to handle your money from personal power, not be reactive, heal any of the wounding or the childhood trauma around money, having a healthy relationship with money and your partner and your family and all those things. So it's just this really beautiful journey, and I make it as intimate as I can. So it's almost like you feel like it's one-on-one support inside the group without the one-on-one price tag.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's my little...
Sounds great. Now, I believe you have some top tips that you could share with listeners.
I will. So inside the management pillar, like what you learn, there's about 20 odd principles and fundamentals of how to manage your money, right? So there's still got the structure and the discipline, but it's not from a restrictive energy. So step number 1, I'm going to give you, it's like 3.5, 4, like, I don't know. I'll just give you what I share, and it's a combination. It's like what to get started. Now, just a disclaimer, because I'm not a financial advisor, and this is of general nature, and I don't know your personal circumstance. So that's why I can just guide you. If you ever joined Wealthy as Fuck and you got the blueprint, everything's personalized to your exact lifestyle. It's not a cookie cutter. Cookie cutters don't work. Okay, so step 1, you're going to stop budgeting. You're going to remove that word from your vocabulary. Because if I say to you right now, hey, you're going to follow a new budget. Restriction, like that it's got even tighter on that balloon, right? Or it's shriveled up a bit even more and make the balloon smaller. So you do not budget because energy needs to flow.
Yeah, cool. I love that.
Money is just energy. So if you're trying to restrict it and you're seeking financial freedom, you're going to rebel on that budget by justifying your spendings, doing the splurges, and then feeling guilty later, and then downing the bottle of wine to numb the guilt. That's pre-Kim cycle. Anyway, so I know there's so many of you guys like, yeah. Sorry, my chair's really, by the way, I don't know if you can hear it.
I'm not getting it.
because I'm like, oh my God, it sounded like I farted there. No, it's my chair. Oh my God. I need some oil on the chair. Anyway, we're not restricting, you do not budget. Now, you're responsible. You're not just going to like blow all your money. So we call it, if you're inside wealthy as fuck, you just follow your wealthy as fuck blueprint, or your blueprint. So I always say run it through our blueprint. But if you needed a more sexy and more feminine base, call it like my system, my self-worth system, or my protocol. I don't know. Like, I've just taken the emotion out. It's just the blueprint. It's my money management system. It's how I manage my money. Like, or run it through the spreadsheet. Like, I just changed the language. So that's the first tip. Now, second tip is when you receive money, so it doesn't matter how you get it, right? If you're a business owner, if you have a job, like you get a wage, or if you get government benefits, they're all just vehicles in which you receive money. So we're all the same. We just have different vehicles in which we receive money. So when you receive money, the first thing that you need to do before anything else is save, is put your money to your savings. You pay your bills. Now, I've had so many people who've come from lack, and this used to be me. I have to pay my bills. I have to pay my mortgage. Like, it's a roof over my head. I'm like, you're not an imbecile. You're responsible. You're gonna pay your mortgage. But before the banks get their money, before the gas company gets their money from you, give
it to yourself.
Yes, and that energetic act of doing it first supports or builds the subconscious evidence of I am worthy. I am good enough. You are your biggest asset. We know when we want to invest, we invest in assets because it appreciates over time. Just like when we invest in learning the skills, we do the business coaching, we do the money coaching, we do the life coaching, whatever. You're investing in yourself. It's the same as this, like you're investing in yourself. Now, this is an extra tip because some people have said, well, money just sits in the savings account and depreciates with the inflation rate. I'm not a financial advisor. I will teach you how to manage your money to set you up to go invest it. So if you have a savings account, if you have no other thing that you want big money going into, make sure there's a bloody interest, like an interest rate you get on it, or offset your mortgage, or put it in a term deposit. Like, be really smart about it. But it's the act of, this is me for my future wealth first, then pay the rest. And this is one of the biggest things that helped us save 100 grand in 2.5 years, because we probably saved about 60 grand of it, and we attracted in total $40,000 of different things that come in because we're aligning with appreciation. So the universe goes, well, I'm going to keep bringing you more. That's the attraction. And then, of course, instead of attracting it, blowing it, attract it, put it to where it's going to make it work for us. So there's so much I can talk about. I need to write a book on this, really.
Yeah, you do.
It's coming. It's in the dreamland. So save first, pay your bills last, don't budget, use percentages, get the perfect percentage for each thing, because you earn 100%. Whether you earn $500 this week, $2,000 the next week, whatever the number is, it's 100%. If you spend more than 100%, you're overspending, and no wonder you feel like I have no money. Yeah. So everything, you don't want fixed figures, you want percentages. If you join Wealth, my blueprint does it for you, and it's like literally to the second decimal place, the perfect percentages for everything. And you just get really clear on where you're spending, where you're overspending, where you're underspending, where you can put more. But the percentages are expansive, because if you're, and this with business, it's more fluctuating anyway. But what I see as a really prime example for the ladies I have who are on fixed salaries, so even if they do overtime, they don't even get paid. They set this in place, and they're like, but Kim, like I always put, like if I do this spreadsheet or this blueprint, even if it's percentage, it's always the same dollar figure each week. So should I just refer to it as like I'm saving $100? I'm like, no, because if you tell the universe that you're saving $100, the universe goes, well, you only want to save $100. Why would I give you more? But if you're saving 10%, as an example, it's expansive. And then what I see is women getting back pays, government subsidies, their husbands are getting pay rise. One of my ladies, she's like, within 2 months, she got headhunted, and then her husband got headhunted for pay rises. And she's like, and look, you could call it coincidence, but how do they know that wasn't going to happen? So this shit works. It's use percentages. It's expansive. It allows you to attract more in. And I'll give one more thing, because this is where, like, that's going forward, as of now going forward. But clarity builds wealth and delusion keeps you broke. That is a Kim Kent quote. And it applies to everything in life. But the clearer you are on your money, the wealthier you're going to be, right? The more deluded is, I only spend $150 on my groceries and I buy like one coffee a week. So it's only like $6.50. And then you go actually see and you're like, holy shit, I spent $1,000 on groceries. Like, where
That's
did
the
that go?
same as when we try and get people to write down their food diary.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, got to
Do
be
an audit.
truthful about it.
Clarity builds wealth. Now, you don't want to do it because you have emotion around this. You don't want to be mortified. That's the victim in you. Doesn't want to deal. Like, just face the fucking dragon. Learn. Clarity builds wealth. If you want to be wealthy, get clear. Like, we just have to get over it. We've got to move through the emotion, rip the band-aid. So we do a full audit, but what I can get you to do now is go through the last 4 weeks of transactions on your main spending account, just on your phone, categorize it up, go see how much you've spent in what category. And you're going to have categories like groceries, bills, rental, mortgage. And then what I used to call the what the fuck account, a category. One of my ladies the other day, she's like, I called mine the NFI category. I'm like, no fucking idea. So you need clarity on your NFI category. So how much have you spent that you have no fucking idea about? Because you can't even, like, I never have unexpected bills or expenses. I know if I saw on my spendings and it was like this you know how the company doesn't match the but I'll know where I spent that.
Yeah.
There's no delusion.
Yeah.
So do a mini audit and actually see what you're dealing with. And thank me later, because you're going to hate me now for
Brilliant. That's really great tips. So we have kind of hit our hour, and I don't want to like just boot you off or anything. So but so you've got the course. How long did you say it runs for? 12 months.
You get lifetime access to the course
Okay.
and the trainings. You get 12 months as a free bonus inside my academy,
Yeah.
which is the Money Gym. And then after that, you can choose to stay a part of it if you want or not.
Okay, cool. And do you have intakes all the time, or do you intake at regular periods?
You can always apply for it. And you just, if your application is approved.
Yeah,
You can.
cool.
Very exclusive on, as I said, I just don't take victims.
Yeah.
Because
well, then the energy changes for you as well, right?
Yeah, but you can apply, you can suss it out, connect. It's on it. Like, you're probably gonna ask, where can you find me? I'm sure we'll put the
we'll put the links all.
Instagram is my favorite place. I have a free Facebook community. If you go to the link in my bio on my Instagram, there's a freebie, a PDF downloadable. You can join my free Facebook group and you can check out Wealthy as Fuck.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
One last question. How, like, I think that, like, we've been talking about money for the last hour. Generally, or like, I know it's changing now and we are more open about it, but how have you been received, like being like kind of, speaking out and living it large when it comes to
the more controversial I am, the more feedback I get. It's
great.
I'm being received really well, but the thing is, I've done enough work on myself that if I'm not received well, either people are not saying it to my face or I'm just not getting triggered by it, because it's not my shit, it's their shit. But the thing is, I'm here to help other people. I'm here to break, like, people need this because I needed this. So I've come from where I've come from to now. It's like, if I'm just an everyday girl, I'm born into white privilege, but still low socioeconomic family, like lots of struggles, lots of anxiety, stress. So I have something that helped me that can help others. But maybe there's people talking about me behind my back, but sweet, you're talking about me.
They know who you are.
I had to be okay with myself and love myself, that if you don't love me, maybe I'm just reflecting something in you that you haven't learned to love about yourself, or I'm just not your person because I swear a lot and I'm too upfront and maybe I'm a bit bogan and
love it.
But yeah.
Good. I love it. It's great. It's good. Thank you so much for joining us. As you mentioned, we'll put all of your details in the show notes. I've just recently started a new website, so we'll be able to put your bio and all the links in there as well as part of the guest directory. You'll be, one of the first up there, which would be cool. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a really great, fun conversation, and I'm loving it. Thank you
I
so
love it.
much.
I could keep talking, but we'll go.
I could too.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you
Thank you
later.
so much, Kim.